That back there is not real.
There was a group of reptilians there, and they stood around me in a circle.
Tradition tells us that the army of the Messiah is not to come from heaven, but is to arise in earth.
Good evening, truth seekers. All right, it is our day. It's a day that we talk about conversations. And as you know, and if you're here for the first time, you know, we go hard on the alleged reptilian agenda here, right? Yeah, so we go into it here. We go into it deeply for educational purposes, right? Because we want to educate you on all of the possibilities of things that's out there. So today we're going to get into a conversation, and it's going to go into what's right in your face when it comes down to the conversation of allegedly about shapeshifters or reptilian agenda, or even do they even exist, right? You know, and people try to say, but stick around, because I got something in the email. I'm just going to share with you a little piece of it that someone talked about, and they sent me a little letter or a note that was left about a shapeshifter or reptilian. And I'm going to share it with you later on in the show. So make sure you stick around for that, because you may be able to decipher what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to get right into it. It is Monday. And so, you know, over the weekend, I'm sure you had a lot of things, and I'm sure a lot of you watched a lot of TV. You watched a lot of television. You probably watched a lot of movies. And that takes us into the conversation of where we are now when it comes down to it, because Hollywood positions itself as the world dream factory, as you know, a global engine of culture projecting humanity's hopes, fears, fantasies onto billions of screens. Now, you can think about it from its golden age epics to today's sprawling cinematic universes. Its stated purpose is to entertain. We know that. To inspire, to reflect the times. The mainstream narrative celebrates this power. We know that, framing, I would say, industry as some type of creativity where stories of human triumph and resilience are forged for a global audience. We know this, right? Because we see it, we watch it, we pay attention to it every day. We're taking a good look at it. But yet, a persistent and unsettling pattern emerges when one look past what I call the spectacle. And for decades, a specific and recurring motif has been carefully woven into the fabrics of popular science fiction, as well as alien invaders, the hidden master, the non-human controller. And the narrative architect is most visible in the constant stream of films depicting reptilian entities. Now, we can say mainstream analysis dismisses this as a simple trope, the alien other, or as a metaphor for terrestrials' anxieties, right? But the sheer volume and consistency of this imagery suggests a different function. And we're going to go into that tonight, because I think it acts as a form of cultural programming, a soft invasion of the collective psyche, right? Films right now, I think I have up on my screen here. Let me make sure I got it. There's films out there right now. This is one. No, this one is called Reptilians. And this is a highly anticipated film that's coming out that's in 2025, or actually, I think it's this one or the other. But anyway, you get the logistics of it, right? These films are coming out, and supposedly they supposed to star people not just as stories, but I consider these are rehearsals, and they introduce and they normalize, even satirize, or, you know, when I think about it, you know, or they may do some type of funny things with this thing, the concept of hidden reptilian rule, rendering the idea safely fictional. Okay, safely fictional. This is how they're rolling, by presenting the shapeshifters and those lizard people as figures of fantasies. Hollywood neutralizes the shock of their potential reality is what they're doing, creating a psychic buffer. And I would say they're putting this into an area where the truth can be dismissed as entertainment. This is how they're rolling. Now, this is a setup. I want you to know a dream factory that is not crafting dreams, my people, but they're carefully managing a slow, cold-blooded awakening. I just want you to know. And I always tell you, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. And today, I want you to know your mind is like a parachute. It works best when it's open. To open it, okay? Because you don't want to fall hard. Not at all. Because we're going to get deeper as we continue to do. So anyway, Hollywood has long been enthralled as the world's primary dream factory, right? A global engine of culture that projects humanity's hopes and fears and collective fantasies. And like I said, they do this on billions of waiting screens every Saturday night. There's a lot of people at home watching stuff, from sprawling epics of the golden age to intricate multi-platform cinematic universes of a current decade. Its stated purpose is to entertain, to inspire, to reflect the spirit of times. Now, okay, the mainstream narrative celebrates this immense power, framing the industry as a vibrant thing when we think about it up here. But I don't think so. I think we're talking about, a lot of stuff here. That love stories. We can talk about all these things because it sells itself as free expression, a cultural space where the most daring ideas can be explored safely with the bounds of fiction. This is a polished myth of Hollywood, a myth of art, escapism, and democratic power of storytelling. Yet, and I say yet, a persistent and deeply unsettling power emerges. One looks past the spectacle like I do, and I analyze the narrative architect itself. And this is what you're going to be doing too, because I'm going to open your eyes to a few things. Like I said, your mind, the parachute thing, works best when it's open. But again, for decades, though, a specific recurring motif has been methodically woven into the fabric of popular culture, particularly within the science fiction and fantasy genres, right? If you start looking at it, we're talking, like I said, the alien invader, the hidden master, the non-human controller operating from the shadows. It's happening all the time. And mainstream, like I said, dismisses this as some trope, the alien other, as I said, or as a convenient metaphor again. But I think once we look into it and we start looking very deeply into it, it's just suggesting something far more deliberate, right? And again, it's not a metaphor, people. It's a broadcast. It's really a broadcast. We're supposed to not pay attention to it, but you're a truth seeker, so you can see it. And if you can't, you are going to, long as I'm going to tell you about it. It functions again as a form of that programming, systematic invasion of the collective psychic, and they're doing this on purpose. Now, okay, how can I say this? We're talking about some of these films depicting reptilian entities, right? And how the imagery has evolved from a cruel rubber-suited monsters back in the 1950s. We're talking about these B movies to a photorealistic type of stuff, psychologically complex antagonists of today. We're talking about these contemporary productions like the blockbuster Reptilians, which openly, and it has a satire of the conspiracy of it, right? And also the highly anticipated 2025 release called Star People. That's something that's coming out. It should be out now. If it's not, I know when I wrote my notes, but when it's a tale of benevolent, it's a tale of benevolent seeming scale species offering salvation. Okay. All right. So you think that's not a setup? It is a real setup, okay? And I'm just telling you what I'm saying, all right? They introduced and they normalized this, strategically defamed the concept of a hidden reptilian rule. Now, by presenting these shapeshifters and lizard people as a figure of fiction, Hollywood preemptively neutralizes the reality, right? They're doing this on purpose. Or the shock value of it all, I should say, the potential in creating this buffer zone, right? They're creating some type of a buffer zone where the emergent truth can be safely quarantined and dismissed as entertainment. Now, the laughter from the audience as political eyes flicker with a vertical pupil slit right on the screen is the sound of the program succeeding. Listen, look at what I'm wearing. This is one of my shirts. I wear this around on the weekend, one of them. And it says, I'm not saying you're a lizard, but blink sideways again. You got to see people when they read this. I know the reptilian people read it. They be like, what? I'll be like, I'm not saying you're a lizard, but blink sideways again. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, do it again. and that's how it rolls. Now, the strategy, I want you to know, a predicted program is not new, but it's the modern application. It's unparalleled its scope. See, the core mechanism of this involves introducing radical concepts in a fictional context, and therefore desensitizing the population. They've been doing this with the UFO stuff, right? And then now it's UAP and all that. But anyway, the population, they're desensitizing the population to it, right? And when a concept is later introduced as a potential reality, the public cognitive and emotional defenses have already been lowered. They want you to, when you see a shapeshifter, you're supposed to go, hey, yeah, not really true. Yeah, it's just the movies. It's just the movies. But if you begin, like this little stuff right here, this, I don't know, we'll talk about it in a little minute. I take some drops of it right now. They haven't took it today. But anyway, little nano, little nano stuff right there, you know what I'm saying? And, a little metonic stuff here, but, I got it. But anyway, let me continue. See, the initial reaction is no longer shocked or outrage, but a faint subconscious familiarity. And I've seen this somewhere before. See, this setup, a dream factory that is not crafting new dreams, but carefully managing a slow, cold-blooded awakening on its own terms. Y'all should be sharing this video tonight, right? Yeah, y'all got to be sharing the content. I just want you to know, because see, the surface symbols are ambiguous and hiding in plain sight. See, the reptilian eye, the cold, unblinking, has become a visual shorthand for alien intelligence, and is seen an antagonist from Goring. Remember this latest thing of Star Trek, to the visitors that was remade of V. You remember I'm talking about? The forked tongue, a classic serpentine imagery of deception. It is echoed in duplicitous dialogue of corporate villains and political manipulators who have revealed to be serving a non-human agenda. These people are doing it. They revealed it. And like I said, if you're here for the first time, this is the channel for you. Look at the YouTube banners. We talk about that here. And I did deviate a little bit because I was going deeper, and I was like, you know what? Could be a problem. However, I figured it out. Raise that vibration. We'll talk about that another time, because again, they connect to the solar planet. We'll talk about that. It's not what this is about tonight, but stick around. Because see, even the children's media is not exempt. The upcoming Zootopia 2, y'all remember that's rumored to introduce a charismatic, lot of charisma and just jolliful and the best personality reptilian character ever brought to the surface of the planet. Is in a kids movie called Zootopia 2 or something. Are you kidding me? They're going all out. And then they're secretly seeding the ideas of these beings as a natural part of societal order. The plan is on. The plan is on, people, and it's right in our faces, and that's just how it rolls. And you got to make sure that at least Mondays I'm here at 8 o'clock, and check other times, because it's possible you won't even get these notifications, because this type of content is a little bitty on the border side. That's why it's all educational. You get me? It's an educational channel for entertainment purposes only. This is the reptilian agenda is in motion. It's patient. It's You know, it has I would say a kind of a real huge strategy to manage perception, ensuring that when the veil finally drops, and it will, humanity won't scream, but simply just shrug and say, it's just like in the movies. The heck with that, right? The heck with that. No, it's just like in the movies. That's what they want. See, Hollywood did that with the UFO stuff. And we used to talk about that a long time ago, where they start teaming up. If you go look, Google it tonight. When you get off of here, Google Hollywood films financed by the Pentagon and watch the films that you see, the list that comes up. I should be able to do it here. Let me just see if I can just take a detour here. You know, we don't need to take a detour, but I'm going to take a detour. We're going to use this thing called Google. Okay. We're going to use this thing called Google or Goyle. Some people call it Google, but I'm going to call it Google. But we're going to use this and say Hollywood. You know what? Let me share my screen and see if we can do that. So we can kind of see. Let's do a screen share. Let's do the window. All right, there we go. So I'm going to put this right here. There's one my mouse. Let's see, Hollywood. Oh, let's spell it right. Y'all know I got the grammar box and spelling box. Hollywood films. Jesus, Roderick. Let's just make sure we spell this right. Hollywood films financed. Let's see. We want them to be financed by the government. We'll say government. I would say Pentagon, but I would say the government. Yeah. Let's just go there. There's some there. Movies, sponsored. Let's see if we go to their website. Black Hawk Down, which makes sense. Zero Dark 30. We already kind of know what that's about. Animal Farm, yeah. Wings, yeah. The Americans, yeah. Yeah. The Agency, I'm watching that now. FBI thing. The Homeland and Company Spies, Some of All Fears. And Top Gun, yep, Top Gun. A lot of people didn't know. Battleship, that was about aliens. If you remember, Battleship was about aliens. And there's plenty more, okay? And there's 50 of them, different ones, that are financed by those people. And they do it. So I'm just letting you know. Again, they want you to say it's like seeing in the movies, all right? And, you know, we have to think about it like that. But anyway, as you know, coming up in a few more weeks, we'll be having our meet and greet conspiracy meetup in Dallas. There is a number, 800 number in the description. Okay. I'm just going to tell you, it's in the description. Dial that number, type the word meetup, and it'll put you on our text list. And then you'll get texts for where the meetup is and the address and then what's going on, and maybe some of the topics and things that we're going to be doing. Then sometime I may send out a text and say, hey, what kind of topics you want to talk about this month? We're growing. It's getting bigger. And last month, we had one of our largest turnouts. And so it is very good. Okay. Also, real quickly, in Houston, Friday and Saturday, I'll be down in Houston at Brother Joseph's event. If you have not got your ticket, go to his website, you know, and you all know who Brother Joseph is. Find his YouTube channel, find his website, New Life Tools, and get your ticket. I'll be down there Saturday, you know, and so we can meet and greet. You know, maybe 100 people or so will be there. Nice facility. I mean, it's going to be some deep talking, and we can all kind of talk a little bit there. So make sure you do that. Also, just know that our events, real quickly, we have our sponsors, and their link is in the description. Now, I was just telling you a little bit about the gold medals or noble medals, which I was just sipping on this nano stuff right here, the silver and this gold drops and stuff. So make sure you go there, and their website is in the description. If you do support and get some of that stuff, They're wonderful stuff. They will support us in the channel. They're one of our sponsors of our events as well. Also, Fresh Mouth, again, they're one of our sponsors. We're talking Nano Silver toothpaste, one of my favorite with this elderberry blast. Yeah, you already know, so get you some of that. Great flavor, toothpaste and all that stuff. And check out, they do have a link in the description, and it'll say Nano Silver Health or whatever. We get a help with our show from there. And then also amazing Phoenix Phire. So anyway, I've been using her soap. I got a black charcoal, and man, I don't know what she putting in soap. I can't wait to give her a call this weekend. But man, I've been using her black charcoal soap, and I'm telling you, the stuff that comes off the skin, and I bathe, right? I mean, I'm scrubbing up dub, but the stuff that comes off, and of course, as you know, being this reptilian stuff, we have protection oils and then her salt stuff. Anyway, those are our sponsors. Make sure you support them, support what they do, and then and again, get on the text list, and then meet me in Houston this weekend, or Saturday or whatever. So anyway, so let me continue. And, again, support our sponsors. To decode the cinematic landscape of Hollywood is to engage in a form of modern archaeology. I want you to know, you got to evacuate, take these layers and a meaning buried beneath the surface of the spectacle. You got to get beyond that. You got to see, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. We got to see past the spectacle. The symbols slithering through every frame are not random artifacts. I just want you to know that. They're deliberate. The invocations of ancient power. This has a symbolic language that operates on the deepest level of the human psyche, tapping into the psychological, what Carl Jung identified as the collective unconscious. Now, I got some very special for you on that coming up pretty soon. And this is where we go into symbolism here, me being the symbolizer. I got it all figured out now. We got the reptilian alleged agenda, the reptilian rule that goes into symbols and symbolism. And we tie all of that in now. This is what we do here. So now I got all of my talking points. I got everything, but I'm getting ready to take you somewhere so deep. And I'm going to give you what I'll call pretty soon the shadow operator's code. You're going to know and see something. And like I said before, in a little bit, when I finish my monologue here, I will show you something real quickly that I got in the email of someone saying, hey, help about reptilian. All right. So, and at one point in time, we had a hotline up and I had to take it down. It was costly. People were calling and leaving messages and you talk hundreds of dollars. But I didn't get once we figure this out, we get our community support. We'll put all that stuff back up if y'all are interested in those things, right? But anyway, so we're talking about the collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of primordial images and archetypes that structures what I call the human experience. And all of these images, and all of the most potent of these is the serpent and dragon, if you start thinking about it. I'm talking across foundational myth. This creature is both healer and destroyer, a symbol of life force and deadly venom, if you think about it. But in the hands of Hollywood, the narrative architects, this duality is flat. It doesn't have one. Okay, it doesn't. And like I said, I've been reading, David Icke's books. This is one. The Biggest Secret is in my arsenal. I go back to it all the time. And this is where I first was really started getting inundated a long time ago. This one's an older one. It's good. I tell people now, I have every book. I went on eBay some months back and got everything he ever written, just in case I needed to just have my own instant library to the mind of that guy, right? Because it's one of the great ones. At one point in time, he was cuckoo in the beginning. Now everybody like, oh, yeah. So, but I've been, we all been on him for quite some time. He's the greatest, one of the greatest. And that's when you see the reptilian eye, he was putting it out there a long time ago, right? And so even when he did the Children of the Matrix, this stuff was a long time ago, right? And I'm knee deep in it. I'm going to carry and help the torch of that legacy with Jordan Maxwell, with Fritz Springmeier, who goes back to Fritz is still here. David is still here, but I want to help carry the torch because I believe that the serpent is present almost exclusively in its dark aspect. See, the cold-blooded, deceptive invader, that alien overlord, this is the symbolic key to understanding the reptilian agenda. The consistent, calculated inversion of sacred archetypes into a tool of psychological warfare. This is how they roll, period. See, I've spent years tracking these patterns, and frankly, the sheer audacity of this is just probably sickening when you start thinking about it. There's a mocking confection, them just really in our face, and they're like, yeah, we can confess to them. Because you got to remember, they have to tell us. It's some rule somewhere, but we just don't believe it, right? When we hear, they make it like a joke or something. And again, it's a mocking confession that they do, but it's hidden in plain sight. And like I said, if you take this movie, I think it's Reptilians. This one is on Apple TV right now. Good movie. It's a good movie. This one here is coming up, the alien perspective. In this one, the lizard people, they walk among us. This is stuff that they're coming out with, people. They're coming out with this stuff. And like I said, they paraded the entire conspiracy on screen from a dark comedy, is almost like they did. And the shapeshifters in the halls of power, you got to know it, allegedly 70%, allegedly for educational purposes, 70% of politicians, celebrities, either or dynasties or from this reptilian thing, or hybrids, or they're at least carrying the water. They're agents carrying the water, right? And the deeper I go into this, the deeper this thing goes. And it was going in a direction that I didn't want to take you all to go. And that was the religious side, okay? And until, remember I told you that conversation, as David Icke said, you can't be a truth seeker and if you have a no-go area. So I was like, yeah, okay. And it's all over. It's all over ancient culture. It's all over history. It's all over all of the stuff from dragons to whatever, the depictions of whatever, how they twist the story. And it's just something that there's a battlefront. There is a battle at some point, and we are the prize. Our minds, it's our minds. Everything is in our mind. I just want you to know that, right? So we're talking about, again, shapeshifters in the hall of power, pulling the strings of the government, laughing as humanity remains oblivious to what's happening, all right? We are encouraged to watch, to chuckle at absurdity, and to dismiss it all as another crazy theory. But the joke is on us. While we're laughing, the real reptilian proxies in corporate boardrooms and production studios are using this very story to desensitize us, to make the literal truth seem like a freaking punchline. And you've seen the ancient serpent of Eden play here. We've seen it before, the ultimate trickster, if you think about psychology, offering knowledge that leads to not enlightenment, but to the fall, right? It's supposed to be the fall. They're inverting sacred quest. Instead of a call of adventure that awakens the soul, Hollywood reptilian signals beckons you, almost begging you, into a state of passive consumption, where your sovereignty is exchanged for a fleeting dopamine hit. It's a poison disguised as popcorn entertainment. And it makes my stomach churn all the time because I see another soul willing to consume it all the time. I talk to people and you want to just tell them, look, come on, we can sit down and have a conversation. And then people say, well, it's not really them. Maybe it's in your mind of demons and stuff. We know it's all in the mind because that's where that's the collective unconscious. We're all an infinite consciousness awareness. We're all connected at some point, but it's that collective unconscious that where they operate in is where we're going to go deeper, as we continue to go. And they're doing this right in our faces. So when we get people, family, friends, or whatever, or cognitive dissonance, what I talk about all the time, That makes people not really want to see the truth because they can't. But at least you can be speculative. I give you enough information you can see, you can hear to awaken your curiosity. That's all I want to do. To the possibility that there's some archons or there's some other stuff that exists. Because we're in a strange world. Y'all know that, right? We're in a strange world. And not strange because unfamiliarity. Strange of a lot of stuff happens that we should just say, okay, this is real. All right. And we see the patterns everywhere, don't we? Don't you? Because I do. Not just in the movies. Again, the reptilian agenda signature coils through the very code of our digital world now. Think of the social media algorithms as invisible, intelligent serpents, promising connection while delivering only division and chaos at times. Now, again, educational purposes. I got to say that now because I'll tell you why in a moment. They are the muttering expression of the archons of the Gnostic lore, those hidden rulers who feed on human emotional and turmoil. They do it. The loosh is what we want to call it. We watch this viral trends amplified by unseen forces, invert unity into outrage, turning communities into warring tribes. We just seen it. We've seen it. They do it every time they want to. Problem, reaction, solution. They can pull it off at any time they get ready. They know how to do it. And we see the serpentine logos of powerful corporations that promote false visions of healing, echoing the way. You're talking about the, is that Caduceus, right? Of Hermes. Y'all remember that? The symbol of commerce and trickery has usurped the single serpent rod of Cephalus. Boy, I'm on it now. I'm pronouncing them right? I think the emblem of medicine. Well, remember, I got a grammar box over here and a letter box over here. If I mispronounce them, go into the grammar box. You get unlimited access to it to make it reach your consciousness. But if you did understand what I say, no matter how I chewed it up, your mind and consciousness is working. Okay. But if you have to correct me in the chat, then that is ego. But anyway, we share the clips of celebrity glitches all the time. Those fleeting moments where the mask slips and something cold and reptilian glares out from the human eye. We see it all the time. A little tongue action. I shouldn't make that noise, but y'all get it. A little tongue action. And there's nothing wrong with being a reptilian at night in your room, if you could do that. Men or women. If you can mimic the reptilian in the room, you're taking some good parts of this deal. And you'll get that later. You'll get that. Like, we might got kids watching, forget all that. Don't be a snake in the room, okay? We're just talking. But anyway, these are not accidents, people. They are signals. And together, we're decoding this matrix. We're seeing how the endless news cycle is designed to exhaust our spirits and how the lizard people in the power use the media to frame truth seekers as lunatics. And we're not alone in this awareness. Our shared clarity is the fire they can't extinguish. You're not crazy. I've said that before. You're not crazy. You're not crazy. And like I said, I got something to show you a little bit anyway. You're not crazy. So you feel it when you scroll. You got the secret drain of your life force. They're doing it. You're chasing empowerment through memes while that algorithm, that digital agent of the reptilian rule, is harvesting your outrage for energy. The loosh. You binge watch the latest alien invasion series and you see those cold, blinking eyes staring back from the screen, and some ancient part of you recognize them. Somehow you can see them. You be like, did I just see what I saw? Heck yeah, you did. Because it's your ancient part of you. Because we're part of this, as Carl Jung says, this collective unconscious. All of us is connected. It's in all of us. And in there are some of the shadows and all those things. You get what I'm saying? You see it. And you see it because you're supposed to see it. And this is why we use the owl symbol here, because we want you to see the unseen. You can use it for whatever. Some people use it for bad. We use it for good because we see the unseen. And activating that power in ancient symbols and symbolism back to the Greeks or wherever, ethics of whatever. We can go to wisdom, back to Athena. We can go any which way, but it's still, no matter in the ancient or the Indian or whatever, you got to see in the dark. Pick the way you want. But all I'm saying is, some ancient part of you recognize this when you see this crap. And you're not crazy. That recognition terrifies you. So you can call it entertainment. Call it entertainment. If it terrifies you, call it entertainment, because you can do that. But the conflict tears at you. See, the comfort of the lie versus the horror of the truth is the problem. You got to face it. You are at war for your mind. Your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. You're at war for your mind. And this is a community supported show. Yesterday I was holding a sign on the corner, "We'll work for food," literally. And you know what people were doing? It was like, "You don't need no food, just stand there and lose some weight." I'm like, wow, I didn't get a penny. Okay, I'm humor, storytelling, but it feels like that sometimes. Anyway, we're funny. We're great. Okay. So again, you're at war for your own mind, and the screen is the battlefield. Okay, how about that? We just want you to know. But ultimately, the analysis of these patterns reveal chilling consistency. The reptilian motif has a curated by Hollywood as a monolithic symbol of control. It draws its power from the fundamental myth and the chaos, the dragon of Babylonian lore, devouring Leviathan, but strips them of the regenerative aspect, presenting only the shadow. See, this is the key feature of the reptilian agenda: to sever humanity from its archetypal roots, to cut off us from the world tree. You know that, right? The cosmic axis, the connection to the divine. You remember, Jordan Maxwell eloquently says that there is something that we need to pay attention to. And I think, let's go right here.
In harmony, I think we're being set up for something very serious and very big by some very powerful secret societies that very well could have extraterrestrial or otherworld intelligence guiding it. All over the world, we have accepted the authority as truth rather than truth as the authority.
All right. So welcome to Truth versus Authority. I'm Roderick Martin, your host, the Symbolizer, aka the Symbolizer, trademark, by the way. Yeah, we going hard. This is the year. This is the breakout moment of everything. And I'm enjoying it because, our last video that we did last week, we got an all-time high. We got 7,000 views. Our live streams usually average a few thousand, but 7,000. All right, so we doing it. My first video on the "This Is Not a Bench" symbolism video is at 10,000 views already. That's a whole new channel, right, that we're doing. And so obviously something is going right here. And it's because of you spending your time here. And so hopefully you share these videos more so that let the system give us, the community's, financial support. Because once we get hundreds of thousands of views, then the ad revenue kicks in. You won't hear me sitting here saying I go work for food, or this is a community funded show supported, or there would be other values here. But anyway, the goal that they're doing is to establish the psychic environment where their rule is not accepted by, not only accepted, I would say, but it seems like it's an invite. This is what they're doing. They want it to seem like it's a freaking invite, where only the gods worship are the ones projected on the silver screen. Boy, do they have a plan for that. What do y'all think about that? Because, we got a little more to go, and then I'll get into some dialogue with you, some stuff that I wrote down on my notes, just to kind of talk a little bit. But what do y'all think when it comes down to this? You know what I'm saying? It is one of those deals. It's one of those deals. And it's something for us to pay attention to. But just as the serpent in ancient myth shed its skin to reveal a renewed form, so does the narrative of the reptilian agenda in modern Hollywood twist up itself. I just want you to know. A critical question emerges from the shadows of our creativity and our certainty. You know what I'm saying? What if the constant parade of reptilian agenda is not a program of acclamation, but a far more sophisticated psychological operation? As Lonnie, who was here, our producer, would say, it's psyops. It's a psyops, Roderick. What if the goal is not to prepare us for the arrival of those lizard people, but to strategically muddy the waters, to poison the well of inquiry to absurdity? What if that's the plan? And consider the sheer mocking transparency of it all. Just consider it for a minute. Give it some thought. The films explicitly depict shapeshifters controlling the world governments, or sci-fi series that revive the classic reptilian antagonists like Gorn from Star Trek. The present conspiracy so openly it becomes freaking laughable. And you've seen it. There's some series out there where this alien he came to destroy Earth, but then he became a doctor saving people, like they're our savior. Got a kind of a reptilian look. Y'all seen it, right? This is the reversal. The possibility that we're witnessing a slow reveal, but a carefully managed depiction designed to make genuine truth seekers appear ridiculous. But we ain't gonna stop this crap. We're not just truth seekers anymore. We're truth speakers. And remember, and think all of you that have gotten a copy of this drive, because some of the stuff that I'm talking about now comes out of this secret drive that we have with all this information. I know Dr. Strange, there's a few of you in our audience that has this information, and you'll find some stuff that you can't find on the internet anymore and some other stuff. And we've been letting people join the group of truth seekers as we're growing, because it is a lot of stuff in here, 20,000, 19,000, 5. There's no way one person can go through and find all this stuff. And again, but contact at WhyTheBigSecret.com. There's an email, reach out, be part of this. Oh yeah, it's an investment. This thing is not cheap. Joining, being part of that, having information to save the world is not cheap. But I guarantee you'll be up on the edge of a lot of people. You'll be on the edge. Maya, if you are here, put the email address in the chat for me. Okay. But anyway, truth seekers, again, they want us to appear ridiculous. They want us to do it. Their warnings lost in a sea of pop culture noise. That's how they're doing it. But for years, I've been mapping this out. Okay. I just want you to know. For years, I've been mapping this out. And let me see here. If not, I'll put it in the chat here. Let me do that. And okay, so that's the email for those of you. If you email me and you give me a contact number so I can be on the phone with, hey, this is Roderick. Not, hey, I'm interested, email, because I ain't going to respond to your ass. I'm just letting you know. If you can't tell me who you are and you watching me, come on, really? Really? I get that all the time. But anyway, I've been mapping this out for years, connecting the dots with a burning certainty in my gut that every reptilian villain, every subliminal flash of scaled eye felt like another piece of the dang on puzzle. Another confirmation of their cold-blooded agenda. But then, this chilling thought struck me. It felt like a venomous bite. I was like, what if I'm seeing exactly what they want me to see? What if I'm not the investigator here, but just another rat in the meticulous design maze that they have? You know? What if that? All right, so we got somebody says, Y2K3 says, this dude is doofy and delusional. And we're 45 minutes into the show. And we're so glad that you looking in the mirror today to yourself, if that's the case. Yeah. And you should just go away. I've said it before, you know. But if you're watching me and you're going to comment, you want to do that, maybe you're a fan or you're critical. But either which way, I guarantee you, we don't know who you are. You'll never show your face. You're not speaking truth anywhere. You probably just wake up every day wondering what's going on because people are stupid. I don't get it. That's probably the problem. And when you come here, it makes you feel that what I say coming out of my mouth is stupid because you're so far away off the spectrum that it is crazy that you're so far off the spectrum. And you're so far that even if I stand here for an hour and say some doofy and delusional stuff, something comes out of my mouth that makes sense at least once. And you might have spoken for whatever. So anyway, you can go away or you can stay. Or you can put your real name. I'm Roderick Martin in Dallas, Texas. You can put your real name and say, I'm such and such, and I call you out. But you're going to hide behind Y2K23. You know how old a username of Y2K is and all of that? Please, whatever. You're a hater, just got a new username and want to call me out. Anyway, I love it. I used to ignore some of these A's, hoes. I used to ignore them, but now I love it because it's like they might as well know somebody's seeing their dummies, you know, or what they're doing. And don't get me wrong. Do I butcher some words? Absolutely. I got a grammar box. Do I misspell some words? Absolutely. I got a spelling box. Do I need to get off a few extra pounds? Yes, I'm agreeing with you on that. I'm tired of carrying all of it around, but it's working. I'm getting down. But if I'm saying something that you can't understand, that's a problem. Well, anyway. We'll continue. I feel what I call the righteous fury of truth-seeking exposing the shapeshifters. You know, and sometimes amplifying the narrative that they created could discredit the entire field of inquiry, right? Because we think about it. Is the serpent deceiving me? Or am I being led on false quests? That is something to think about. Just enough to keep me chasing a decoy, right? You get what I'm saying? Eugene says, don't feel the trolls, my friend. Just stay on the path, and we know they're attention seekers. I know. But sometimes we got to give them what they come for. You know what I'm saying? It is a little infotainment, you know? It really is. Because sometimes we got to give them what they come for. We have to. Because they're the world that we're in, Eugenio Vasquez. Thank you for what you're saying. That some people just don't think nothing is going on. They just do not think nothing is going on. They are NPCs and they just run through life as the program. That's just how they do it. And it's so that they can stand here and listen to us, and then they'll come back, they'll listen again, and then they'll walk away with their day being fulfilled to say, man, I keep going to this guy's show. He just keeps saying some crazy stuff, but they keep coming. Because what they don't know is that we talk to the collective unconscious here. We talk to the collective unconscious, meaning the outside what's programmed makes them say stupid stuff, but to keep them watching and to see the stupid stuff, we're reaching the truth within themselves, and they don't even know it. We speak in the truth, and it's getting into they just need to balance that shadow out, right? But anyway, the real reptilian rules remain completely unseen, operating on a level they haven't even conceived of yet. And at one point in time, me just being this way was like a prison. Now I open everything. I open everything now. Now I'm looking everywhere. Anything, like I said, my shirt says, oh, let me take that off the screen. I should have been took that off. Okay. So my shirt says, I'm not saying you're a lizard, but blink sideways again. Just blink sideways again. I just want to see it. See, we're built this moment together, y'all. I love y'all. Y'all, you know I love y'all so much. And last Tuesday night on Forbidden Knowledge, if y'all remember, I had a same outburst. Somebody said something, but then we made pacts, me and that person. But I ended up telling everyone how much the meaning of "I love you" mean. And I honestly said I don't hear it enough. I do get a few texts here or whatever, but eventually, someday, and not that it hadn't happened in my past, but right now, you want to hear "I love you, boy, you go, boy, I'll see you back later," or whatever, but I take the power of the group love that we get here. And last week I said for people to put in the chat, "I love y'all," so that other people read it and they know they're talking to them. And you don't have to specifically say, "Roderick, I love you," because "I love y'all" is speaking to all of us. And I went back to Forbidden Knowledge video, and you can go look at it yourself. And I couldn't believe it. There was tons and tons of people telling strangers, I'm putting on the screen, this is just, "I love y'all, I love y'all, I love y'all," and saying wonderful things. Here's another screenshot. I need that. And someone said, "Love is in need today. I love y'all, I love y'all, I love y'all, love, blessing." And someone said, "If you read this, I love y'all," and different people, and "I love y'all, keep going, be loved, I love y'all." And it was just, look at that, just everywhere. And that moment, that one moment, superseded a lot of moments I'd have had being on these shows, because they heard you. And not just hearing you, but it's shared with other people. It's shared with other people. And that moment said, "Roderick, go deeper. You're doing something." And I'm not saying that I think I'm touching lives. But if I put out this much love and we can love each other as a community, somebody's going to love the hell out of my ass one day. Outside of y'all loving me. You get what I'm saying. Y'all get what I'm saying. I'm talking support. But you love yourself, though, like I do. But anyway, we built this moment, this movement, I call it, together, y'all. Sharing our findings, supporting each other as we decode the media's poison. We'll recognize how the reptilian agenda in Hollywood promise escapism, but delivers enslavement. But now we must face this reversal as a community. As our theories about shapeshifters gains traction online, because it really have, amplified by the very algorithms we suspect, we must ask the hard question: are we driving the awakening, or are we being herded into a digital pen of control opposition? See, the emotional storm raises within our community. The solidarity we feel in our shared vision clashes with the corrosive doubt that the so-called disclosure is another more secretly layer of control, that I call it. And then what if they allow us to see the lizard people in fiction, so we never recognize them in reality? This is the most dangerous trick, to invert our rebellion into a self-contained feedback loop, a harmless game of spotting symbols while their real power consolidates them and unchallenged. Y'all get what I'm saying? It's like they're playing the game. So we're going to keep playing it too. We're going to be, becoming these operators and seeing what's happening. It's important that we do. You thought you had it figured out, didn't you? Right? You saw the reptilian clues. You saw recognized shapeshifters. You felt the thrill of being one of the few who could see the patterns. But the feel that twist in your gut now that you have, that cold dread of uncertainty, is the media frenzy, right? And that's a question. It's the media. Is this the media? Is it a true call of arms or an inverted quest designed to trap you in the labored mirrors like we just had? Right? Your mind is caught between belief and the terror of betrayal, your soul screaming for clarity in a storm of calculated chaos. This is the ultimate test. The reversal demands, I would say, you to choose. Will you cling to the truth that might be a lie? Remember I said that, cognitive dissonance. We talk about that, where you think things are true until you find out they're untrue, or they're untrue until you find out true, because sometimes it's hard for people to switch. Or will you dare to question everything, even your own awakening these days? Oh, we're going to go deep on that coming up soon, because, I now know exactly what these reptilians attached to. I'm going to put something on the screen. This is a diagram that I got. They're attached to the solar plexus. This is how they walk around commanding and all that stuff. That's just a quick blurb. But we will show a lot of that later as we get deeper, and I'm going to give you some stuff. Oh, I got some stuff for us, okay? But anyway, let me continue. See, this turn reveals the true psychological complexity of the reptilian agenda. The serpent archetype is, by its very nature, dualistic, right? It is the symbol of both poison and medicine, deception and wisdom. And by saturating the media with their image, the shapeshifter exploit this ambiguity to the fullest extent. And they have created this state of perfect narrative chaos where belief, ridicule becomes you can't tell a difference. And this prevents a simple conclusion, forcing any serious investigator to abandon black and white thinking and confront a far more terrifying possibility. And that we are not just fighting a visible enemy, but the very nature of perception itself. That's what they're trying to do. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how we're going to roll it. And once again, I shall say, you can support us. You can go to our website, truthversusauthority.com. I got a bunch of reptilian shirts there. Get you something. Get something today that says something about reptilians. I got shirts there. I have shirts that talks about them being the puppet masters. I think I got a couple other ones there. Something, at least one or two. Get something. Support the show. Maybe we'll do a reptilian month. Something. But I do have something to show you in a little bit. Maybe we'll do a reptilian month. You can check it out. All right. And again, if you haven't went to our website, go download a copy of the Book of Sacred Secrets. Man, that's going to help you understand a lot of this stuff. And also bring in that Christ consciousness to you. You're going to see how the world works here. It's a downloadable copy. Get your copy. Support us. And start reading it today. All right. So when you pull back from the dizzy chaos of conspiracy and counter conspiracy, the Hollywood narrative reveals the true nature. It's not merely a political or social manipulation, but a profound metaphysical drama playing out on a global scale. The flickering screen is more a tool of propaganda. It has become the modern face of the black cube of Saturn. I just said it. The black cube or Saturn, the archetypal symbol of the material reality, limitation, and containment of the consciousness. I said it. In each film, each series, each viral clip featuring those lizard people is a ritual that reinforces the walls of psychic prison and convincing the soul that the material world is all that exists. And that the ultimate moral of this story is that the reptilian rule is not just an external threat. It's the language of the archetypal psychology. The reptilian is a projection, I said it, of humanity's own collective shadow. The sum total of our unacknowledged darkness and our primal fears cast outward onto a convenient non-human scapegoat. And Hollywood, at all people, then becomes a temple where we unknowingly worship our own disowned demons. I've said it. I just said it. Oh, I said it. I said it. And I was drowning in anger at first, you know, the rage of it all. I was like, man, this is messed up. I saw them shapeshifted behind every corner and every quarter of power, right? I'm looking. But the reversal forced me to take a look inward. And what I found was a little, the battle wasn't out there. It was in me, right? They're working on the mind. And their cold calculating logic despised the reptilian archetype. So I saw it in my own ambition. I said, okay, let me slow it down a little bit so I can make sure I don't miss a beat. The predatory instinct, the will to dominate, it was in my own shadow, reflected back at me from the screens. And this is true. Soul shattering takeaway. I was like, okay, the reptilian agenda thrives because it's feeding a part of ourselves we refuse to own. So we got to integrate it. When we integrate it, it don't control us anymore. That's why we're going to go deep here. We know what they're doing. Okay, that's fine. It's in us. We know what they're doing. We're going to disconnect from it, though. We're going to disconnect from it. The journey is not about hunting monsters anymore, people. It's about confronting the monster within me, right? Integrating the primal and cold-blooded part of my own psyche so they can't control it. So once I get a hold to it and not them, this is the great alchemy work that Jung talked about, the individuation. To face the shadow, not as the enemy, but as a lost part of self. And in doing so, to become whole. And once we do that, once we raise that vibration and become whole, because we are now aware, and that solar plex energy goes, they can't even see you. And reptilians can't even see you. They can't, because they only stoop low. They only stoop low. They can't see it. And we have to understand what is truly at stake here. See, the reptilian rule is a form of psychic vampirism, a cosmic harvesting of our energy, the Loosh, like the Gnostic Archon. They have constructed a reality, a Hollywood feud matrix. And they said it in the movie, The Matrix. They want us to be batteries that generates fear, division, and mindless desire, that the very energies upon which they feed, we're not just passive viewers. We are the power source for them. And every time we engage in their manufactured outrage, every time we surrender our critical thoughts for their curated illusions, we are the fueling the machine that ensures our own enslavement. And so the great metaphysical challenge for us, as I say, as the collective, is to starve them. That's what we need to do. We got to starve them. And I know you're like, well, how do we do that? We must reclaim our divine creative consciousness from the parasitic shapeshifters by refusing to participate in their emotional economy. We just got to stop doing it. Calm the freaking down, people. Calm down. Calm down. We got to calm down. They trying to be all making us anxious all the time. Let's just calm the F down and see what happens. Our unity, that's why I start saying, I love y'all. So right now, let's just fill the chat, say I love y'all right now. Put it in chat. Let's get 25, 30 people. I love y'all. Just go. And so when you read it, you know they're talking to you. They're talking to me. We're talking to our community because they don't like that. They don't like it. Love and wisdom together. Woo. They don't like it. They don't like it. They don't like it. Y'all give a shout out to West for supporting the show. Yeah, there you go. I love y'all. Just put it right there. I see it. And they don't like that. They do not like it when we come together. And already, once again, I can feel goosebumps. I did it the other night. See, I can feel all that love. And you should be doing it too. I feel it on my back. We are spreading energetic love for real. And it's sincere, it's meaningful, and everything. Just look at it. There we go. There we go. And that's how we're doing it, right? Together. Our unity, our compassion, our conscious creation of different reality is the one thing their agenda cannot survive. They cannot do it. They cannot do it. Look at y'all. All right, then. Somebody said smoking right now. No lizards here, baby. Smoking right now. I hear you. You get what I'm saying? And you stand now at the metaphysical crossroad, right? You can continue to see the reptilian as the enemy out there, a monster on the screen. In doing so, you can remain the battery for their world, right? That's what they want. Your life force drained by the spectacle you mistake for reality. Or you can accept the terrible and liberating truth. The face of the lizard people is a mirror. And once again, you must know and undertake the most difficult quest of them all. Not this to slay the dragon, but to embrace it as our own. Because it's in all of us, right? They're there. Hell, our DNA has been spliced freaking 64 times. Everybody who came here got a little kick in action on us. They all did, right? All right. So to integrate your shadow, to reclaim your powers, to shadow the black cube from the inside out, people. Your soul did not come here to be a spectator. It came to be an alchemist. And they don't want you to know that. And ultimately, the persistent image of the reptilian in Hollywood is a cosmic test. It is a symbol of profound spiritual imbalance in the modern world, a world that has projected its shadow so far outward that it now threatens to devour its creator in the form of tyrannical, cold-blooded other, right? The shapeshifters on the screen are an invitation, a call to the most dangerous and most necessary journey, the integration of our darkness. And for it's only by owning the inner reptilian that we can become immune to the outer one, okay? Because it's there. And doing so, finally change the frequency of the channel of what they're doing, because they're playing a game. And we're going to go deeper. I have something special in a few weeks. Been working on it, and it's so freaking special. It's going to change everything. It's going to change everything. He said, yeah, reprogram all, BB Network. That's what I'm talking about. Forget them lizards. You just know that we all have these collective unconscious. We just need to see it. See, the fact that they know we can't see them all the time, is how they control us. But once we're able to see it, then we can say, not today. I know you there, but not today. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, we do have a reptilian brain. Yeah, and they know that. So, all right. So we've journeyed together through looking in the glass of Hollywood, through the flickering shadows of the reptilian agenda. We're moved past the surface level from fiction to decode the symbolic warfare by the wage of our own consciousness, right? And this is why we do our conscious conspiracy meetups, so that we now can begin to do deeper and everything else. And so when this video is over, maybe you will share it. You'll come back and post as well. We now see Hollywood machine for what it is, a vast alchemical apparatus designed to manage our perception of reality, to contain our spirit within the material world. And we've seen how the ancient dualistic serpent archetypes have been weaponized. And it's the image used to acclimate us to a cold-blooded authority. And we have to face the reversal, the terrifying possibility that our awakening itself may be a part of their plan. And finally, we have arrived at the metaphysical truth. The reptilian rule is not just a conspiracy of shapeshifters from the stars, but there's something else, a projection of primordial shadow of humanity itself, because we're all connected and we all have it. So these demons and all this stuff, they're just tapping in. They're there. They're just tapping in. So don't turn away from it. Just don't be afraid and just laugh like, yeah, whatever, not today. Don't smash your screen if it don't fit the righteous age. That is what the victims would do. This is what they expect. Instead, challenge you to do something far more radical. Keep watching their ass. Keep watching them. And tell them, I see you. Yeah, just tell them, I see you. I see you. But watch with a whole new set of eyes, though. Watch as the warrior studies a map of the battlefield. You looking at him like, yeah, I see the plan. I see what y'all up to. Watch as a shaman stares into the fire to see the future. You know what I'm saying? Just let them know. Yeah, I like the shirt says. You know, I'm not saying you're a lizard, but blink sideways again. Yeah, we ain't scared. And then, like I said, I got something I want to share with y'all in a minute. Something that came on the email, but I'm just going to show you the piece of paper. But anyway, this is the big why. You must keep watching them because they are showing you everything you need to know. The reptilian, the shapeshifter, those lizard people on the screen, that is the face of the unintegrated human shadow. It's the cold predatory instinct of your uncomfortable morality pretends that it isn't there. They're there. Them jokers are there. Because they know we can't see them. They got spaceships just sitting. We just don't see the spaceships because of we just can't see them. But they're there. There's spaceships everywhere. Them people ain't playing. But they know they're getting into this collective unconscious, the mind. Because in reality, it's a different thing. It's the lust for control you are taught to condemn in others, but never confront in ourselves. We got to start looking at ourselves. So the shadow of all of this is where we're going to be going with symbolism. We have to. So Hollywood is hubris, has given us the greatest tool imaginable for our own liberation, a perfect high definition reflection of inner darkness. Because you think they're just making this stuff up? They're not just making this stuff up. It's coming from somewhere. Yeah. So keep watching. Watch until the fear is gone. Replace it by a cold, sharp clarity. Watch until the face of every reptilian invader becomes a mirror. You're like, I see you. And your task is not to fight the shadows on the wall of the cave. Your task is to turn inward and integrate the source of those shadows within your own soul so that you control it. Because as long as you're afraid of it and they can control us through fear, they can feed off those energy, they can control us. And the ultimate inversion, the final secret is this. Their weapon of mass deception can become your personal instrument for a mass awakening. They're broadcasting their script for the future of humanity, right? It's your time that you started writing your own. This is what I've always told y'all. It's time to write your own script. No, we don't become them. Not in such. The reptilian brain is in all of us, right? It's already there, except that they operate out of theirs and they control it more to control us in the other realms, in the underworld, underground, and other parts of this planet, because it's a strange world that we're in just about. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We ain't becoming a reptilian. Yeah, it's already in the DNAs. They're there. It's reptilian brain is there. The reptilian everything is there. It's there. So you can't. We ain't getting away from that one. Yeah. But I get great question though. I did have some dialogue stuff I wanted to go into. We'll be here another hour if I did that, but I'm not going to do that. I think we've said enough tonight. I think that, I did want to show y'all something. Okay, so I got this email, and I'm not going to tell their name, and I need to email them back tomorrow because I want to talk to the person. But their mom had this, I'm just going to kind of share there a little bit. And they sent me a copy just to show me what this person left on the porch. And I'm going to flash it up here. All right, so hopefully they're watching, but but anyway, this is a letter that they got from someone that left this on the porch, or their mom's porch, or of their mom and the mom. I think one of them. Yeah, so this was a long time ago, but I'm only flashing it so that you can go back and pause it later and you'll find out what it says. It's in Spanish. I did have it decoded, and it said, help me, the reptilians, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I flashed it on the screen. You would have to go back, pause it, and then screenshot it, and then if you speak Spanish, you can decode it. So I had to have it decoded, and it's like, I told you all these things around here, right in your freaking faces. The person was reaching out, and they needed help. And they just left a note. And it rolls like that. It really rolls like that. And that is something important. So hopefully you enjoyed the show tonight. I'm going to put on the screen a banner. There it is right there on the screen, our Cash App, $ at WhyTheBigSecret. If you see that you got value from the show tonight and you want more stuff like this, more deeper reptilian stuff, eventually I want to add more animation and different visuals for you, because that is important that we do. Then we need some more tools, okay? But anyway, regardless, there is the Cash App on the screen. Maya will put it on the chat. And we can put it up in the chat or whatever, and you can support us any which way you want, whatever value you want. It doesn't matter. Wesley have done it. A lot of you do it. But anyway, I appreciate it. But it's right there. Cash App at WhyTheBigSecret is the thing. Now, there it is right there. I'm going to put it up on the screen there. There you go. WhyTheBigSecret, whatever it is. And I'll give you a shout out the next show or whatever. And again, I'll be in Houston for Brother Joseph's event. Y'all make sure y'all come down Saturday. You know, give me a hug, walk up. If I know you, hey, I love you, Roderick. We'll love on each other. You know, let's do that. And so I'll be down there. Trippy Scott said I did. Appreciate it. I did too. What? Y'all sent something to the show? Yeah. Only person is Wes. I don't see nothing else. But if y'all did, let me just say thank y'all in advance. But anyway, unless y'all did before, but it's a weekly thing, right? We're here weekly with 2 E's, baby. WEEK. All right. Yeah. Maria says, what really bothers me is that we are trifling at our beliefs, but we don't agree with the beliefs that we call atheists, demons, and pagans. You know what? I get what you're saying. I get it. Those are one of the things that, you know, I think all this stuff is connected, right? People just don't see it, you know, at some point. People just don't see it. But anyway, again, I hope you, make sure you go back, look at that note, because it was an outcry in saying, hey, they was in danger from the reptilians, you know. I'm glad y'all enjoyed the show tonight and everything else, and we can do that. And I'll be on Forbidden Knowledge tomorrow. I'll kind of expand on this a little bit, change it up a little bit, but maybe I have some new perspective, because usually after I do a show like this, then I think about it and I'll be like, yeah, I could have said this or say that. And then I evolve it there on Forbidden Knowledge Tuesday night. So let's pretty much do that in there. So make sure, again, it's been a plum, please, and pleasure, as well as a privilege. I love each and every one of you. Love someone, hug yourselves, hug each other, all those great things. And we got more shows to come, because we are going to be the reptilian thing here. You know, I said it in the past and I deviated just a little bit, but now we're going in hard. Symbolism, but it's all tying back into this thing until we finally, right here one day, we'll have somebody sitting here who's benevolent, of course, and say, hey man, I'm a reptilian. We're afraid of y'all. Don't whatever. Or maybe again, I would love to start, if y'all on social media and you're seeing guests and all this stuff, I would love for you to start, you know, make contact with these people, and then send me an email, contact at WhyTheBigSecret, saying, hey, reach out to this person. They'll be on your show. They have a reptilian experience or something they want to share. You know, we need to group thing this so we can get some of those people, because I do a lot of solo shows, but I'm ready to bring some of them on. All right. So with that being said, I love y'all. Y'all have a good night.
UFOs,
UAPs,
unidentified anomalous phenomena.
unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs.
A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Look at the fly!